We're part of the same place. We're part of the same time. We both share the same blood. We both have the same mind. And time on time, we've had so much to share. Oh, no. I'm not waking up tomorrow, honey. And finding that there's nobody there. And
Oh my God! Did y'all see his preacher hands?
I had to shake. I was feeling it.
Wow.
Maggie and I were singing that to each other earlier. Oh,
but we didn't take it there, Brandon.
We didn't. We gotta take it there.
I gotta fan you. I need something to throw at you. Singing like that. Go on.
Oh, thank you.
Are you in a good spot?
Yes.
Maybe come towards me a little bit.
A little closer. Yeah. We're situated, you know.
Oh, Jennifer Hudson, we love you. I don't know who the original singer is. Sorry. Do you?
Jennifer Holiday? I think.
I don't know people's names.
I am so sorry. But hey, y'all, welcome to the Shade of It All. I'm Brandon.
Welcome back. I'm Magdala, and this is Deja fucking Vu.
Do you get deja vu when she's with you? It is because we actually, being transparent, we recorded this yesterday, but the audio didn't save. So we're re-recording it, but it's all good. You know,
it's all good. I like him. Kind of.
She's cool enough to re-record.
So we're gonna record it again.
Yes, and we wanted to be transparent, unlike our government with this TikTok ban.
I'm dead. No, I was just talking to Obi about all the conspiracy theories. You were just saying one.
Something's fishy.
Yeah.
Because they thanked Trump in the message.
Yeah, so they're like, but then I saw a TikTok that was like, Obama helped us. And then I saw another one that was like, Mr. Beast wants to buy TikTok. So I'm like, does it matter?
I don't trust.
Does this matter?
I mean, this is what's happening. Let's bring this back to a place of wicked.
The government.
The government make the animals the enemy. Everyone has a common enemy, and they look at you as their savior. Trump kicked off the TikTok ban years ago.
Yes, I remember that.
And now he's saving it. It's a typical dictator. I'm going to take this from you, and then I'll give it back so you can thank me.
You can have it back. Because I'm so kind, and I'm such a good person, and I care about you, actually. That's valid. That's why it matters.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really care that much, but what you said makes sense. I mean, it doesn't change my perception of him. What,
no.
You think you're gonna get the 18 to whoever population because you saved TikTok?
I see a lot of people on TikTok, they understand and they get it. I feel like I'm on the right side of TikTok with it.
I feel like everybody kind of moved over to Reels. We weren't that pressed.
Yeah, it was kind of just like people mourn. They made their, it's funny because the TikTokers who made like their goodbye videos are the ones where it was just like the Peter Griffin voice where it's like, I just want to be completely honest. I hate The Godfather. And they would say whatever they lied about or something, clearing up something.
Oh, so that's what that was.
Then it's like, yeah, like 12 hours later, everyone's back. But I was confused because I remember there was a hearing at one point.
Yeah.
And Rachel from the cutting room floor, she had posted kind of like just, she had listened in on it. And she was like, oh, basically on the 19th, you'll still be able to get on TikTok, but you just can't like download it from the App Store, get updates. It'll soon become obsolete.
Yeah.
All that. And so when it was that we weren't able to access it, I was kind of thrown off.
Yeah.
But then the quick turnaround was like, what's happening?
Yeah, no, less than 24 hours it was back.
Yeah.
It went out early and then came back. I thought who knows?
I know. My cousin's future wife, she deleted it and now she can't re-download it.
Who's future wife?
The one you met at Chase.
Oh.
Yeah, briefly.
I was like, Madison's getting married?
That would be funny. I'd be like, surprise!
Madison! Hey, if you're single. No, I'm just kidding.
My cousin Madison, she's lit.
She's awesome.
But yeah, so I'm like, the people who preemptively deleted it now can't re-download it, which that kind of sucks. I didn't delete it. I just did nothing. I was like, this sucks. Enough with this TikTok ban, because we're back, y'all. Anyways, so you can still follow us on TikTok at the Shaved It All podcast.
Please do.
So, but let's jump into this Traitors episode. We were going to go over season 3, episode 4.
Yeah. I thought it was the third one. And then when I'm sitting down, sometimes I just put my, like, I have a stupid face because I'm playing with my tooth.
Maggie was looking at me confused. I was like, yes.
I thought it was episode 3.
No, they dropped the first 3.
You're right.
And now we have 4, which was an amazing episode, I must say.
Very good. The show is turning out to be pretty amazing.
Pretty jam-packed and eventful. And I love everyone they picked, to be honest.
Yeah, no, they're eating it up.
But episode 4, we start off where episode 3 ended on a kind of like a cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, hanging on a cliff, and that's why he's called Cliffhanger. No?
Is that from one of your cartoons?
No. It was on PBS. It's called Between the Lines, Between the Covers of a Book. It's time to look between the lines. No?
That part sounded a little familiar.
It was a PBS show because it would come on and then Zoom would come on right after. And then they were always telling it was teaching kids how to read, and they'd be like how to pronounce different words, and then like there would always be a story, and they at the end the guy who was on the cliff would like fall again, and they were like Cliff, his name was Cliff Hanger. Oh yeah. And it was teaching kids what a cliffhanger is.
Okay. I love that. That's nice.
I wanted to sing it yesterday, so
I'm glad we could re-record so she could sing it now.
Sometimes I have an idea and I'm like, no, it's fine.
It's all good.
But today I was like, we gotta do it.
I love it. I'm glad you did it.
We were on a cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, hanging on a cliff. Oh. But the Traitors, they were in the bookcase.
They were.
Because they have been challenged. They have to shortlist 3 people to put up for murder, and then ultimately they'll decide who they're going to murder, but they have to do that, and they have to do it in plain sight, put it on a piece of paper, put it in this little coffin thing that says RIP in the bookcase. And so Gabby heard some commotion, and we were kind of thinking, you're like, oh, this editing, like maybe she didn't hear or see anything. Turns out she did hear Danielle's voice coming out of the suitcase.
And she was really smart about it, because she kind of says, like, I heard Danielle, but I didn't want to be caught alone being the only one hearing. So I left the room and I tried to, like, go away for a second. And I was like, Gabby, you're smart, girl. Because anybody else would have just been like, Danielle, what's that? Who's back there?
They would have like walked up to it.
Like if it was Dylan be like, hey guys, what are you guys doing?
What's going on here?
And then he's murdered in a couple minutes. They go back and change the short list and put him on it.
Dylan.
So she was really smart for that.
She was. And she goes in the hallway and she meets up with Sierra, which is important to remember that Sierra was there and she went to talk to her at this time. But the Traitors leave the bookcase, and then Dylan does end up finding the bookcase, but it's open now. And he's like, this feels sus, and he goes inside and he's searching for clues, and Danielle shortly behind just like, what is he doing? So she starts to look, and then Sierra joins them as well, which is also important.
And they're all looking around like, what happened in here? And Dylan's like, there's something different. I can feel it. And I'm like, Dylan is really smart too.
Very intuitive.
Yeah. Something did change actually. But Danielle is just like, I don't know what changed. She played it off really good.
This is crazy. But they end up doing nothing and like, it's fine. But then they all disperse. And then Alan rings his bell. Ring, ring, ring.
Ring my bell.
Ring my bell. Traitors, come here.
A treacherous thing is happening in the courtyard.
Okay, y'all. So this is for the YouTube viewers. If you've noticed the camera maybe changed a little, it's because it did.
It did.
We usually use my phone and connect it to Zoom, but I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or my phone that likes to be trifling, and then it'll randomly disconnect for a few seconds and go blurry, and then it just will come back randomly sometimes.
Yeah.
So we whipped out my new webcam I would use when we would do it virtually, and it low-key looks kind of cute. So we're probably just going to use that going forward.
It's
But
easier.
again, we are the king and queen of transparency.
Let's go.
And we're just letting y'all know and giving you, like, if you see something
Say
different,
something.
yeah, and that's what we do. So with that, we were just saying how Alan was ringing their bell.
Yes.
And then he summoned everyone outside.
He did.
To expose the short list that the Traitors made of who is going to go in these coffins, because he has 3 coffins out, and they're like, y'all getting in this, and they're like, huh? So
no, the way everybody looks so shocked and like,
I know, right?
Aghast. Like, well, I get it because they're never summoned at night.
No, true. It's it would be pretty shocking in general, but they did do a coffin thing last time.
Yeah, but it was like during a challenge, I think.
Yeah, it was a challenge, and it was like they had to like go to like with a carriage and like travel.
Oh, yeah, they were all dressed for a funeral. Weren't they?
So at least it was kind of expected. This one was a bit more random and on a whim, but the 3 people that were shortlisted were Jeremy, Nikki, and Sierra. And Sierra was kind of surprising because they didn't previously say her name.
Yeah.
They said Jeremy and Nikki, and I think they threw out Ivar, but they never said Sierra.
Sierra's also surprising because, like, I've barely seen her talk. Nikki, too, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like usually with shows like this, the day someone's about to be, like, kicked out or something's about to happen, we at least get, like, some glimpses of them to add them to the story, but not this time.
Yeah, because that's the thing, because there was people suspecting, because I listened to some Bravo podcasts, and they're like, Sierra's barely on. But then people are like, well, usually if they don't show you in the beginning, it's because it's gonna, like, you're gonna show up more later.
So
maybe
Dylan's gonna die soon.
Maybe, because if you think about all the people, like the people that are gone, they showed a lot. So it's kind of like makes sense. I think that kind of, hopefully with Brittany from Big Brother, because they're not showing her that much.
No, I haven't seen much of Brittany. Barely see Ivar. Barely see Sam.
Which of those people might just be boring and go soon.
Maybe. And we barely see Derek. So.
Except for when he's trying to be Captain Save a Ho. Anyways.
So, like, I was really helpful today, so, like, keep me, you know?
Will you help me? No. So
I'm so cold.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm tucking my arms in because I'm cold.
Oh my God, Maggie.
Well, it's like 60. No, it's like 30 degrees in Florida this week.
Is it?
And
right
I was
now?
just outside. It's cold right now.
It was in the 40s this morning.
Now we gotta know.
It was a lot.
No,
I was
yeah,
like, this
I heard
is too much.
Alexa told me the low was 40 something. 44 degrees, and I went outside with this. Just this.
Just this.
I was just wearing
my
this t-shirt, and I walked across, and the wind was blowing, and some dogs were barking. It's okay.
Maggie, you're
I'm gonna
so
tuck in.
strong.
I'm strong. What do you mean I'm strong?
You're so vigilant. And you're just so strong, and you're a hero.
What are you talking about?
The way you went outside to walk, and there was weather.
I did it for us.
She did.
I did this for us.
She was finding a plug that we actually did end up using one of them, so it was not for nothing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, even it's great. Like Obi was like, "Are you back so soon?" Anyway. Our coffins are opened. 3 people got to get inside of them.
So they get in these coffins and they have to kind of plead their cases as to why they shouldn't be murdered. Sierra gets in. She decides to take the approach of fuck the traitors. I'm gonna find you. Fuck around and find out. Which I liked. Some people did not. But, you know, we'll get to that. Nikki was very much like, I'm a strong person. And I feel as though my strength will help in the challenges and in this game. It's like, okay.
I didn't know you before. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you for letting us know. And then Jeremy's was just kind of like pleading with the traitors and being like, I'll work with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I was a little sketched out when he said that.
I was too. And then it's also because it's like, I don't know, you're saying that, and I think he's subliminally saying that to Danielle,
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but I would be a little sketched out if I was a faithful.
100%. And then and then that's it. They all are in the coffins. I would actually ask, my last words would be, can I get out of this coffin? Because I feel like that's bad juju. Like, don't lay in a coffin before you're dead.
It's definitely not good luck.
I mean, it's like a really old looking coffin, so maybe it doesn't count.
Maybe.
But I wouldn't do that. And then Alan is like, all right, go to sleep. Go to sleep, hoes. Leave. And Tom Sandoval is like, oh. And he's like, leave me. Go, Tom. He has to tell Tom specifically to leave. Tom is like pouting.
I'm like, Tom, are you about to jump into the coffins and take them out? Like, what do you think this is? Like, get the fuck out of here, Tom.
It's a game. Just leave. You're killing production time. Come on.
There is some tweet, I think someone said, the definition of being 8 steps behind.
Well, I also saw someone say that the production must really hate Tom Sandoval because they always show these awkward moments of him being a weirdo.
They do.
Like, they really highlight when Tom is being goofy or when Tom is being weird.
It's crazy.
We didn't need it, but it was cool to have.
Yeah, because it's crazy because it's like, it's kind of funny that he's there for those moments, but it's not making him more likable by any means. It's just like, wow, you are the comedic relief. Please stay
Literally
long, but don't win.
Could anything make him likable?
No, I don't think so.
When you have so much red in your ledger. Anyway.
The red bleeds through every other color.
Red stains are the hardest to get out.
Not.
So they all leave, and then the traitors come.
And Bob's like, we are eating. And then Bob says, Rob, whoever's down there and survives, they have a lot of sus on them. And then it cuts because it's a little cliffhanger to be like, who do they go?
Who do they go? We don't know.
But then the next day in the morning, the first group in is Robin, Chriselle, Dolores, and Gabby. And Robin, with her hot wrong take of the episode, it's like, I'm convinced now more than ever that Nikki and Jeremy have been traitors all along.
Robin, you think 2 people they put in the coffins, 2 of them are traitors?
That part, I get thinking maybe one. But 2?
2? Girl.
Funny.
She is. I know now more than a girl.
It's so definitive.
I am
not
certain.
even like I'm thinking, like I'm leaning towards. It's like for sure it's this.
I like Robin in this series, but that take, girl.
But this is where Gabby introduces her bookcase theory, where she heard Danielle, and she explains to them like, oh, I heard Danielle coming from the bookcase, so I think she might be someone to look at. And this is where Dolores and Robin again are like, there is no way that Danielle is a traitor.
No, Gabby, you're wrong. No way.
You're silly, Gabby. Tricks are for Bambies.
But it's funny because Gabby doesn't stand on it either. In her confessional, she's like, if I had to pick somebody today to be a traitor right this moment, it would be Danielle. But in 5 seconds, that could change.
Which, you know what? Look, fair enough. It's a hard game. At least she's kind of on the right track.
Right.
But she needs to stand in this because she's dead on.
Yeah, Gabby, listen to your intuition. Honestly, all of us, listen to your intuition because sometimes you can be right.
Listen to your heart.
Follow your heart.
When they're calling for you, listen to your heart. Yeah, so more people come in. At one point, fucking Tom comes in dressed with his beanie.
Yeah, it was like
jeans.
Bob, Tom, Dylan, and Ivar, or some set of boys, and they're like, we're the boy band. But then like, I don't know if it was definitely before Alan came in, but they're all like kind of talking about their suspicions. And Bob the drag queen is like, I think that if something such happens, I think it's Sierra because Sierra blah blah blah. And in my head, I'm just like, Bob, be quiet.
You're doing too much.
Stop talking. Like, you're talking a lot.
Right. And also, I think Sandoval kind of co-signed and was just like, she didn't do herself any favors with her speech. And I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does the speech even matter? Apparently, they're trying to make it matter.
Yeah, and then some of them are talking about like, oh, like Brittany was saying like, oh, last night it was really quiet in the castle, like before everything happened, blah blah blah. So they're all throwing stuff out. So I kind of get why Bob is talking too, but sometimes I just feel like he should talk less.
Definitely. The thing is, he talks a lot and it's like loud and like suspicious. You know, it's not even like just like some side comments like, oh, I could think this. It's like very like,
maybe agree with someone after they talk, but for you to always like have something to throw. We see Bob talk a lot this episode. Bob the Queen.
Bob the Queen. Drag Queen Bob. But Danielle, I think she comes in the last group before it's revealed who's murdered, and this is where Robin and Gabby bring up the bookcase theory again, and they're just like, who was at the bookcase? They have a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah.
And Danielle immediately cops to it, just like, I was in the bookcase with Dylan. And then Bob was like, oh yeah, I went at one point, because there was one point where people were saying, oh, the bookcase is open.
Again, you didn't need to talk, Bob. She wasn't even talking to you.
That part, why are you adding that?
Stop giving yourself strays, man. But anyway, Danielle had a really good cover. And I think it's ironic. Dylan, the sleuthiest of sleuths, who's always trying to put clues together, low-key ruined the crime scene because he was in there with Danielle.
He gave her an alibi.
Unknowingly. No, like the odds of him even like knowing that are low, but like just the fact that he was the one to give her the alibi is very ironic.
Yes. And this is why I said earlier, it was important to me that when Gabby first heard it, she ran into Sierra in the hallway. And then when Danielle went back into the bookcase with Dylan, Sierra joined them. Because if Sierra and Gabby would just talk about this theory, which they don't this episode, but maybe hopefully in the next episode, and they talk about, oh, Danielle was in there with Dylan, Sierra could be like, oh, I was in there too with them. And then Gabby can put two and two together like, wait, when I heard Danielle come out of it, Sierra was definitely not in the bookcase. I ran into her in the hallway. So that means Danielle was in that bookcase more than once.
They could put it together. But Gabby didn't stay to look.
She didn't.
She heard voices. So we're thinking too highly of them.
We are. It's one of those where it's like a small detail that doesn't seem that important probably to them. Yeah. But it's like missing detail that could connect it all. But I don't know. Things that we
see that they're missing for sure.
Right. And it's just like, it doesn't look like that conversation's going to happen based off how the episode
because
goes.
Gabby immediately was like, I thought I had something, but I guess I don't. I'm like, yeah.
Wow. It's
Gabby,
been
you're so
debunked
smart.
already.
She's also really pretty.
She is. I love her.
I was thinking back and I was like, she's beautiful, actually.
She is.
Gabby, you're so pretty. Anyway.
Gabby, come on the pod.
Keep up with your clue. Listen to your intuition, Gabby, and like keep being super cute like you are.
You got this.
Anyway.
And now finally it's revealed who survived, and the two people that survived were Sierra and Nikki. So Jeremy was murdered. And,
poor Jeremy.
Poor Jeremy.
He's in his
cried.
confessional. And then he's like, what it's doing for my kids. And I was like, oh my gosh. My heart was broken. I was just trying to like, for those of you listening, I was just trying to reenact him like sitting down and being. And at first I was like, you won $1 million in Survivor already. But he has 4 kids. So I had to look it up. I was like, why? But I mean, and he's probably a competitive person. He's just like, damn, I lost.
That part, it's kind of too, I think, in why maybe Tony felt away when he was eliminated early. It's kind of like if you were on a game show, and especially if you won a game show, you probably know there's a lot of pressure on you to like perform well. So if you like leave early, it can be kind of embarrassing maybe.
Yeah, can you imagine his kids are like, Dad, you're gonna do it. Dad, you won last time, Dad. And then he goes back and they're like, Dad, you didn't win?
Only episode 4.
Tony's probably... No, I get that. And also, I wonder if they're like probably feeling a bit nostalgic, like they miss playing games. So to get out early does suck.
Yeah.
I feel that.
He did some after thing because they do this thing online where it's like the people who were banished and murdered find out who the traitors are, and then they get to talk. So Ion and Tony got to talk, and that was really funny. But Jeremy just did it, and he was guessing who he thought was a traitor. And he thought Danielle, but then he also thought Sierra. And then based off her speech, and then I forget who the other one was. I feel like he might have said Dylan.
Oh.
I think it was someone else that wasn't a traitor. The only traitor he got right was Danielle.
Yeah.
Which I mean, hey, that's good.
He was right. No. But he's really bummed. And so is Carolyn. Carolyn cries. And I was really surprised to see her cry.
Really?
Yeah, because I see her be like frustrated and stuff, but I've never seen her emotional like that. This game must be really stressful because she didn't even cry in Survivor. Did she cry in Survivor? Maybe she did. But I don't remember seeing her cry.
Yeah, because she said that thing like Survivor, they always say welcome to the family. And I feel like I turned on my family because she didn't want Jeremy to get murdered because they
all of the things.
Yeah.
Carolyn doesn't co-sign any of the traitors' decisions.
I think it was revealed in that thing with Jeremy that she, by whoever gets banished, I mean, I can say it right.
Yeah.
Who got banished? Bob the drag queen.
Yeah.
But he said that she was pushing for Nikki. But that they just went for Jeremy because Danielle wanted it and Bob the drag queen and Boston Rob didn't really care.
Which makes sense because Jeremy was actively saying Danielle's name, but to Carolyn, Jeremy was kind of on an island by himself and like people weren't really listening to him, which is a valid point from what we see. That is kind of true too. But who knows? We don't know all the dynamics in the house.
That's true.
Carolyn is so stubborn.
She is.
She's just like, man, no, don't do it. And there's not even like a, okay. She's like, no, I'm not for your plans at all.
Look, she might be, because these kills and these plans put a lot of sus on the traitors, so maybe they should be listening to her.
No, she's got points.
This is why if she's not going to win the show, she'll at least be the last original traitor standing.
I think I agree.
Because I think it's hard to go from the beginning as a traitor to like win.
Yeah.
I think Sari did it, but there was also a mix of like people non-shows.
And you can't compare yourself to Sari. The way she's so cunning. You can't.
You can't.
It's a different level. She adapts to every environment perfectly. Seamlessly. Literally, if Jared wasn't on Big Brother with her, she would have won. I 100% believe that.
I could see that. She still made it far. She made like top 5.
He fucked up her game. Sidebar. Jag never would have distrusted Sari had Jared not been like, you're going to be safe, bro. And he's like, but why? Why does Jared know that? I don't trust Sari. Ever since then. So, anyway.
Big Brother side note, but if you know, you know. Gotta love Big Brother. They removed reindeer games from Paramount Plus.
Really?
Kind of sad. I didn't go back to watch, but it was cute. So I wish they would have kept it.
How did you find out it was going?
I think online people were saying they're removing it, and it's like, why?
Oh, that's random.
I do want to give a fashion shout out to Carolyn, who looked great in her white dress.
She did look good.
Sierra stunting in her mini new tan dress and the blue blazer, and she had the one bow. I love a bow. And then I thought Nikki looked cool with her neon plaid outfit. Yep.
I only noticed Carolyn because they're like, Carolyn, you look nice. And I was like, oh, she does.
Pop off,
and
Carolyn.
Gabby's really pretty.
So they show the flashback of the traitors kind of discussing it and ultimately deciding Jeremy. And then they go back and Nikki reveals that they were in the coffins the whole time, which that surprised me.
That's crazy.
That is.
And I don't think the traitors knew because Bob was surprised. Danielle was acting surprised. The fact that they would say anything at all.
Yeah, I'm sure because when they were talking, they were very high up, so they probably couldn't hear. And then I'm sure there's some type of soundproof maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure they weren't talking in front of the coffins. They were at least a couple feet away.
Yeah, so it was just kind of like...
Maybe more than 20.
Like, they were at the top and the... coffins were at the bottom, so whatever length the stairs are, that. But Nikki did point out that one of the traitors was pretty light-footed, so they think there was like a female traitor. And then guilty as hell, Danielle goes, "Oh, so you saying they had light feet, the traitor?"
So it was a woman. And she's like putting the pieces together for them. So it was annoying. So Nikki is like, yeah, we could hear them. And Bob's like, you could hear. Bob, the drag queen, you can hear. What did you hear? And
Tell us what you heard.
And then she says, I heard footsteps. And then, then Danielle is like, footsteps? A woman's footsteps.
Right. It's like, can y'all please just not say anything?
Stop talking. And
Carolyn didn't say anything.
Carolyn didn't say just fucking listen for a couple minutes. Damn. Anyway, Nikki then goes like, yeah, I think that Jeremy trusted the right people or the wrong person. Be careful who you talk to. Be careful who you trust. Be careful. And Bob is like, you're right. See, yeah, he trusted the wrong person. And I'm like, again, Bob, the queen, can you just... And I don't know now, production could just be highlighting the things that the traitors say, but at this point it's breakfast and this man has already chimed in like 4 times that we see.
That part.
Maybe other people are chiming in too, but I just feel like you're talking a lot. Danielle's comment unnecessary, but fine, she could say something. You've been talking so much. We haven't heard Rob say anything. We haven't heard Carolyn say anything. Maybe they didn't show it, but I just feel like Bob the Queen was talking a lot. He got really comfortable.
Nikki did clock Danielle though, because she said it to us in the confessional that Jeremy, one of the last things he said to her, she also says Jeremy. She's one of those people. Oh. But she was like, Jeremy told me that he suspected Danielle.
Jeremy.
I'm like, stop.
So Nikki does know that. So that does put more sus on Danielle.
She's like, now she's questioning. So I'm like, I'm going to keep my eye on her.
So you think it was a woman? She didn't say that, Danielle.
No one said that, Danielle.
Let her come to her own conclusions. Anyway.
I can't. Alan comes and Tom screams, guys, hold on.
Guys, wait.
It's like, okay, it's just Alan. Jesus. But he does the thing where he throws a picture. He now says they have a mission.
And he tells them to keep their chiseled chins up. They start laughing. And I was like, this is the first time we've seen the cast laugh. Right. I feel like I have fun
They're
for a second.
They're usually scared when Alan comes out.
Literally. He's like, keep your chiseled chins up. And they're like, they are chiseled.
And that's foreshadowing for the mission.
It is. I didn't even make that connection.
That's okay, Maggie.
They all talk.
They get in different groups and disperse because they're wondering whether a traitor was always in the coffin. There's that theory. So Tom, he meets up. I don't know if anyone else was in the room, but from what we saw Robin and Sam. And Tom goes up and he's like, can I say something, guys? Can I say something? And they're just looking. They're just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then he's just like,
they're like, I think he needs some water.
Robin just laughs. I love Robin.
No, he was glitching. Someone reboot him.
Someone please turn it on and off, please. And then he's like, I think Sierra was recruited. And then Robin's like, yes. That's exactly what I was thinking.
It's mean, but that look gives me like frickin' frack. Like, what are you guys doing? Dumb and Dumber. Like, just
that part.
But I have to. I can't say that for long. I think it, but I can't say it because the faithful are really at a disadvantage. They don't know shit. They don't know. Like, I wish that these like little things that the traitors had to do were a little more obvious, like in the foyer or in something. Like, each of you have to go and you see someone being weird. Like, it's so hard to like have any theories. So Tom, great theory, Tom. Robin agrees with you.
There's people online, they've said, I think Corey from Big Brother, he was like, the traitors, they need to take some rules from this show called The Mole. And I guess one of the things is like the traitors have to have a task during the challenge that like if they get caught, it might expose them as a traitor. But it kind of like it's an obstacle of some sort. Yeah. And I'm like, that could be good.
It could be. Like, even the one that they did was a good one. But it's in this hidden bookcase. And so like you kind of have a cover if you can be quiet. It wasn't foolproof, but it wasn't like loud enough. Like it wasn't like a big enough thing to bring attention to them.
Wes talks to Ivar and Danielle, and he gives his theory about Nikki, which he will not let this go. throughout the entire episode. And it's a pretty weak argument, in my opinion. It's like, oh, well, Nikki has a profession where she's a showwoman, but she's really playing low key. Yet she took this opportunity to go in a coffin so she could perform. And I'm like, huh?
From my perspective, Nikki said 2 sentences.
She said nothing.
She's not performing at all. But his logic was, I think that because she's a performer, she should be doing more, and we see her not. So that means she's performing like this. And I'm like, but the same argument could go either way, Tom.
You're like contradicting your argument,
Wes,
like each turnaround.
Wes, your argument's so stupid, I think it's Tom.
You got me thinking you're Tom when you're talking.
No, not a great one.
Not great at all, but
again,
hey,
you guys have nothing to go off of, so
yeah.
By all means, continue.
The Bambis are outside with Derek and Boston Rob, and they kind of discuss the coffin theory. And Nikki assures everyone she's not a traitor, and then Gabby in her confessional is like, I just don't see it that Nikki is a traitor, and honestly it's just I love her. Am I biased? Yes, but like I just don't want to say bye to her, so it's okay. And I'm like, honestly, fair, but also like it's good if you think someone's a traitor to have them close to you, because then they won't murder you. You could use them as a shield at one point. Like, it works out.
Who said that?
Gabby.
Oh, Gabby.
She's a funny one.
I just think it's funny how she's like, could she be a traitor? Sure. But I like her. It's like,
so I'm not ready to say bye.
That's not the game we're playing, love. She could take all your money. You could like have gone to Scotland for like 2 months for no reason.
It's like
that is fine.
In one of the episodes where she was like, I love a breakfast bread, I like the bagel, I like the salmon, I like the goat cheese, and I love talking shit. And I'm like, period. We need to go to brunch with her.
No, 100%. I saw a video somewhere, and this guy was like, if I was at the Trader breakfast, and he's just eating. Like,
yes, you sent me that.
He's going in, like, eating all the food, but like, I 100%, like, I low-key want to see the spread, but like, it looks fire. I know they always have salmon and lox. So fucking good.
Remember
I bet
Phaedra?
There's capers there.
When everyone would be like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
She's like, not my burger. Not my burger, delicious.
Like, boiled egg? Ooh.
Pass me one of those croissants.
Please, thank you so much.
Toaster.
Well, someone's gotta die. I loved her.
She was great.
And then finally, Dylan is still thinking it's Bob the drag queen.
Yeah.
But he feels as though he doesn't have the numbers quite yet, which, stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
But then we get to the mission, and they go to like the mountaintop. They go to the hills are aligned with the sound of statues. And Alan tells them how the mission is basically there's statue pieces with like the legs and the bodies. And then each statue head has the name of someone. And basically you have to bring these pieces up the hill and then like go back down, get it all together. And then the completed statues, whoever's name is on the head will get a shield. And there's 10 shields available, which is quite a lot of shields if you ask me.
Yeah, and I think each statue was 10K or 20K to the pot.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
I always forget
the purpose of these challenges is money, but all the money somehow finds its way at the end anyway.
Right.
So they have to rebuild these, and everybody, so they kind of start off, it's just chaotic. All these challenges are chaotic. The root of it is everybody's out for themselves, because in this season in particular, shields are just available. I've never seen a challenge where 10 people get shields. Last year, maybe the max number of shields was like 3.
I think it was like 2 or 3 each time.
And it was typically chance, if like very rare that all 3 would be taken. But now they're just giving away shields. They're like, there's 10. And maybe they did that on purpose to make the challenges harder.
Maybe.
And cause more drama. Kind of give maybe a lead to the Traitors too.
Yeah, make people maybe freak out more if they didn't have a shield. I just flash back to last season when Dan Giesling thought he was doing so well. And then like one of the challenges, he's like, I gotta pretend to get a shield so it seems like I'm a faithful. And I was like...
You're literally like the most obvious traitor.
I'm like, that was the most obvious move to make, but he acted as if he was like reinventing the wheel.
I'm gonna do this so that I'm no.
The
He was
thing
a really
about
bad
this
traitor.
challenge and being a traitor is you gotta be treacherous. Like, thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Speaking of Big Brother, Derek, he his angle this game is he like wants to get a shield, but he's like, I think it would give me more favor if I helped people, which I not know. Like, I don't necessarily disagree, but you could also look out for yourself simultaneously. Like, just look like you're helping people. You don't have to actually help.
Like, some people do that in Survivor. Like, I'll be really good at the challenges and they'll want to keep me. No, it's not foolproof. But it's just chaos. So Bob, as soon as the challenge starts, Bob the drag queen starts yapping again. And he's like, guys, like, okay, but who needs a shield? And let's figure it out. And everybody just starts running in different directions. And the thing is that the heads are light. So you can bring your own head. But the body is like something that maybe two people need to bring.
Yeah, and they're kind of like awkward pieces too.
They're very awkward to carry. So Wes, Dylan, and Tom Sandoval bring their heads up to the start. Like, they are the first people up the hill with their heads at the top of the hill, waiting for a body to put on it. Of course, they go back down, but like, you could see it's a lot of men again, like looking out for themselves, trying to stay safe. Nobody wanted to listen to Bob and strategize.
Nobody did. And then he was being too vocal. We get Bob Harper is having a tough time with everything, which is, it was sad because his thing was like being part of the Biggest Loser and like trying to help people lose weight. And then now
it's ironic.
It is. And it's just like he had a heart attack where he had a 20% chance to live. And but he did, but now he's kind of had to like re-establish and like kind of like get to know a different version of himself where he's not able to do things like this.
I was just like confused why they included this. Like, we talked about this yesterday, but like, I was really confused because we don't get backstories in the Traitors almost ever. And if there is a backstory, it's a brief confessional with the person being like, yeah, so this is the 2-sentence backstory. Like, that's it. So they showed Bob struggling. They showed him another time. And then at the end, he got to talk to Alan about how hard it was. And I was like, why are we doing this? So I'm curious now. It has to be for a reason. Maybe he's going to get like medically evacuated or something next challenge, or maybe
it could be, is it setting kind of a sob story for him to be a potential winner?
Okay, that's true. Or maybe that's the reason they kill him, because they want him up as a traitor because they're like, why are you doing that? You're supposed to be fit. I don't know.
No.
It's gotta mean something.
It's gotta mean something.
We don't know what it means. Well, after watching this episode, I don't know why they did this, because there was plenty of else to talk about.
I didn't call.
Because during the challenge, Tom and Ivar are like the first people to secure heads, and then like Tom Sandoval gets one, Dylan gets one, and then they're all like running around, and then Bob the drag queen claims one. But then he runs down the hill and sees Sierra and Tom struggling with a body, and he yells at Sierra.
He did. He's like, you don't need a shield. Everyone thinks you're a traitor. And she's like, they do? And he's like, yes, bitch. And then she starts to laugh. I'm like, Sierra.
But also, Bob, what the fuck?
Right. Like, why are you being the one to tell her that?
And you just claimed safety for yourself. So why are you gonna go now judge someone? Like, help her out. Like, it's very ironic that you would be like, let's strategize and see who needs one, but then go claim one yourself,
right? And
then yell at someone for claiming one.
It's just so unnecessary too. Just like, shut up.
And the way he ran up on her, like, bitch, you don't need it.
She's like, bitch, you don't need struggling. This. She's like, what?
And Tom is just like, I guess this must be normal behavior of Bob, because Tom is unfazed.
Yeah.
Tom didn't react to him saying everybody thinks you're a traitor.
Yeah. Bob's just a very
unhinged, man.
A little bit, but you know.
He's doing a lot.
Too much. And then the challenge ends, and the ones who do not have a shield are Sierra, Carolyn, Nikki, Ivar, Robin, Sam, Gabby, and Derek. So of those, the only one who doesn't matter if they got a shield or not was Carolyn.
Yeah.
So then that leaves 7 people up for murder.
And then Alan asks, does anybody have any thoughts about this challenge? Which is also interesting because he typically doesn't. So maybe he typically does, and this is the first time they include it.
Actually mattered.
Yeah. But someone chimes in. Who do you think it was? Let the people know.
Brittany.
But I didn't even know Brittany was still here.
She did have a funny comment. She was like, I had a Peloton and I thought that would help, but unfortunately it didn't have carry big ass things up and down hill.
It didn't include hills. That's funny because she talks so little that I didn't even remember that she said that. But anyway, they show her so little. Brittany probably were killing it, but they didn't show you, girl.
She probably was. They need to show more of her. I love Brittany.
It reminds me of how in Big Brother, Zingbot came and he zinged somebody who had left but she was so boring. It was that black girl, Mimi.
Oh, Mimi.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Is it?
If it's the season you're talking about, the one with
the
Jag?
one that just passed. Yeah. No,
the one that just passed. Who was that?
No, it was the one with Jag.
Okay.
Mimi, he was like, Mimi, you're so boring. I forgot that you even left. And she was like gone.
Damn.
That's how I feel about Brittany. Like, Brittany, I haven't heard from you so much that I didn't even realize that funny Peloton joke was from you.
Hopefully they show you more, Brittany.
Oh, but Bob chimes in.
Yes, and this is where he decides to say, well, I would think the 3 new guys would try to get a shield or not need a shield. He said something like that because we all think one of them's a traitor. Mind you,
there had to be some context because this feels so random.
There had to be something else. Like, why would you just say this out loud?
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't think it was that big of a deal, but considering Boston Rob is one of those 3 and he is in fact a traitor and y'all supposed to be working together, you're now putting sus on him. And you just sealed your fate because Boston Rob immediately goes, it's like Kill Bill where she sees her target. Have you seen Kill Bill?
No, but you're really good at whatever that was.
Thank you so much. We should watch that. That's a good movie.
Okay.
But
we haven't done anything in a minute.
We haven't.
We need to hang out again.
I know we need to play games. Yeah. It's too much.
But yeah, Rob is like, oh, bad. We want to talk about you want to talk about the new guys.
We want to talk about
the new guys.
You want to talk about
guess what, Bob? Your ass is next. He's like, I'm planting seeds now.
Right.
Which is funny to me because it doesn't seem like anybody caught on to this comment from Bob. But Rob is like, nah, you're a liability to me. So he puts his head on. And I'm like, no, I mean, Bob has been doing the most all morning. This is like his 10th out of the pocket comment.
Right. So. And it's like, probably everyone was thinking it, but to vocalize it in front of everybody now is really putting it out there.
Well, no, I actually think it was out of their minds because everybody's focused on the coffin thing and Sierra and Nikki and they're talking about other things, small footsteps. Who has light footsteps? You know, like nobody was thinking. I feel like nobody was thinking that, but
at least not top of mind.
No.
Like, so it was a very random,
very
just unnecessary comment. But so Boston Rob's pissed. And he's the only one of the 3 people to be pissed. So I think people should note that.
Yes.
But when they get back from the challenge, Boston Rob is going around the castle. And he's kind of planting the seeds. He starts with Dylan. Because Dylan's ecstatic. He's like, oh my gosh, finally someone believes me.
It's like, today we can do it today.
Drag queen.
Okay.
Yes. It cuts kind of to Wes, and he's kind of talking to Sierra because he's still pushing his Nikki theory. And he's like, people think it's you or Nikki, so you got to vote for Nikki, so you break the tie. And she's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. And Rob was trying not to break his trust with Carolyn and Danielle. So his thought was, let me plant it with other people. And so he starts talking to a bunch of other people, pulling them aside like, hey, let me talk to you. And then later he talks to Carolyn and Danielle.
Yes. And he's kind of just like, oh, the votes are there for Bob the drag queen.
Yeah.
And Danielle's in disbelief. She's like, no, we got to change that because the plan was Nikki was gonna get banished. And then when Sierra didn't come back, Or when Sierra did come back the next day, they'd be like, oh, she'll get banished next because she's the traitor. So that's throwing a wrench in that plan, which I think was kind of a not a great plan, because I'm like, again, the way you just were able to say that plan in 2 seconds, it's like, it's so short-sighted. And also, when people find out they're not traitors, they're gonna look at the people who were pushing that they could have been traitors.
Yeah.
And Danielle definitely was kind of pushing that.
Yeah,
it
wasn't a good idea.
No.
Anyway.
But she walks away, and then it's just Carolyn and Rob, and he kind of like speaks to her like survivor to survivor. And it's just like, look, like it's gonna be Bob.
And Carolyn's like, right now?
She's like, isn't it too soon?
Tonight? We gotta do it today? And yeah, I do think that this is a bit rushed. Because who's sold on it? Dylan. Dylan is sold on it, and like Tom is like, some people are sold, but like he didn't really plan. I thought he was gonna do his due diligence to the point where he didn't have to like push it, you know, like really try to spread it around. But it seemed like people were divided, and Rob was really like, no, it's got to be this. And he makes it worse later for himself.
Yeah, because Chriselle seemed kind of open. But then when Derek and Nikki were talking about it, Nikki didn't want to vote for Bob. Derek thinks it's Sierra.
Yeah. Ivar was in on it.
Yeah.
But Wes was talking about Nikki. Yeah. So, yeah.
They're
like, it's Bob the Queen. Everybody's like, Bob the Queen. Bob
Drag Queen Bob. He's got to go. But we get to the round table, and Wes decides to kick it all off. And he looks right at Nikki, who's next to him, and he's just like, I'm about to come for you.
Literally, he says it just like that.
He does. And
Wait, are you Wes?
No.
You literally did his voice like perfect.
Thank you. That's the second time you said I was good at an impersonation.
Yeah.
I love this. I can do a siren and I can do Wes.
I'm dead. All of your impersonations are good. Even like when we did Love Island, you were great.
Oh, thank you, Maggie. You're good too. Oh my God. But he gives his whack fucking showman theory, and he just goes off about it. And then by the end of it, she kind of gags him a little. She's like, I have to say that, you know, silence, as a faithful, I believe silence is golden, and you just rambled a lot. And I know you pride yourself as being a good game player, but it's a little odd that you've been here for 2 days and you have all these thoughts about me. So I think if anyone needs to like ask any questions, it should be directed to him. I'm like, period, Nikki. All right.
Get him all the way together, Nikki. Nikki's like, the next time you think about saying my name, think fucking twice.
Think twice. And if you didn't think it through again, think 3 times, bitch.
And then what happens? Nobody brings up Nikki after this.
They don't.
They're like, yeah, we're probably wrong.
The Bambies kind of come to her defense when Gabby says, I think it's a great theory, wrong girl. And referring kind of to, because he mentions the coffin part as well. So she's thinking it's Sierra.
And Robin's like, guys, like, we gotta be confident. I want a confident guess. I'm tired of getting the wrong person. Like, really pushing, like, they need to, like, make a good choice this time.
And it's like, well, what's your guess, Robin?
Yeah, she didn't have anything. Well, we didn't hear it.
And then this is where Derek tries to call out Sierra and say, oh, I thought you were a traitor because I heard Nikki plead for her life. Jeremy sold his soul.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that from you, Sierra. And out of all my times being a detective with these thousands of interrogations, the one thing I noticed was when someone's trying to sell me on a lie, they often use profanity to sell their point. And so you do that a lot, and I think you're a traitor.
And Sierra's just like, what? What do you mean?
She's like, I'm a nurse. I have to be honest with people. I have to tell them whether they live or die. I can't be anything but loyal.
She's like, what do you mean? And then other people are like, because she uses profanity? Like, we all do. And it's low-key funny because it's like, Jeremy is like, traitors, I'll work with you. But no, not the person who wants to work with the traitors. The person that used profanity.
The person who said the F word.
She said the F word, guys.
I can't believe we said profanity.
People only do that under pressure in my years of experience. experience because I am an expert.
Welcome to reality TV, Derek. Shut up.
Funny. But no, they defend her.
They do. And Sierra's kind of talking, and then finally Boston Rob's had it. He's like, I've been waiting for Dylan to say something, he won't. And he's like, you guys, this is what they want. You guys are turning on each other. The traitors are trying to get you to argue this point, but really you're missing it.
There's one person that's been quarterbacking this whole show, and a lot of you love them, but we have to pay attention to them. Bob
the drag queen.
It's Bob the drag queen. Bob, it's you.
Bob's just like,
it's Bob. Bob is shaking. He puts his hands on his face.
Not this community theater play they're putting on. They better stop.
What in the low budget?
This low budget play. I cannot. And then
Dylan's like, yeah. He's good at deflecting.
Yes. And Dylan puts his 2 cents. He's like, yeah. And then finally Bob kind of starts to defend himself. And then he's like, I have 9 words. I swear to God that I am a faithful.
Period.
And then Boston Rob's like, I have 2 words. You're not.
You're not is amazing.
I will funny.
Say, Boston Rob, you're doing a little too much, but you delivered, man.
It's a
good ass argument.
There was some entertainment. Mm-hmm. They have their back and forth. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think at one point Bob the drag queen calls him a bitch. I'm like, this is funny.
Yeah, they start going back and forth. And Dylan's like, no, guys, like, this makes sense. Like, someone who's shy as a traitor would be, like, maybe quiet, more reserved. But you're already so loud and, like, boisterous. Like, this is how you would act. You're acting so, like, comfortable. And you're doing all these things. And you're being yourself. And you're being so bold. You've got to be a traitor. And this is why I knew you were one from the beginning.
He's like, I know about acting. I grew up with an actor. Not a good one.
So who's that?
Zac Efron.
Oh. 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 I was like, is this the Britney Spears guy? Who's an actor? I forgot Zac Efron's brother was in it. Dylan is Zac Efron's brother. They don't even look like.
Yeah, they don't really.
I don't think Zac Efron's a bad actor.
He's not. I think he was just being funny.
Yeah.
Zach's good. We love you, Zach.
Look, High School Musical's a hit. Anyway.
I never believed it. So they go back and forth. And I will say, I think Boston Rob just was a little too confident in his argument. Mm-hmm. And he seemed too sure of the fact that he knew Bob the drag queen was a traitor. No,
he was doubling down. He's like, if it's not him, then vote me out next time. Like, 100% confident. Like, he really pushed it, and I think he pushed it too much.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, it's just, I just feel like it's not 100% necessary. You can throw things out or whatever, but, like, I feel like he had to, though, because he's a traitor. So is Bob the Queen. If Bob rallies Carolyn and Danielle, Boston Rob could go out next. So he kind of has to push it home and make sure Bob goes home today because Bob could come after him. But, like, he's not thinking about the other 2 people who play a factor in this as well.
No. And it's just like, and at one point, you know, because I never really watched Survivor, so I don't know the lore of Boston Rob, but everyone online is just like, this is what he does, and he's great. And he can, like, galvanize people and all this. And I'm like, okay. But I guess just watching from this perspective, and maybe it's because I know he's a traitor, and so we're coming from there. I'm just like, he just seems so guilty. Like, even when he's talking to people, he was giving, like, showman when he was like, he's deflecting because he knows I caught him. Like, speaking to the crowd as if he's, like, auditioning to be a mayor or something. Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing?
Because I think, like, he's leaning on his Survivor experience. Because in Survivor, you can rally people, make a good argument for why they should get out. Hey, they're going to beat you in the end, blah, blah, blah. And once they're out, it's not a second thought. But in this game, doing that in this game has different repercussions. It could make you suspicious. Why did you know so much? Blah, blah, blah. Like, why were you so confident? And then, like, he is right. And they see that. So that is going to come out against you. Like, great job rallying everybody, but you're playing a different game, man.
Yeah.
It's not the same game.
You gotta adjust. It's like,
you don't want to be so sure in this game.
it's like what Carolyn said at the beginning to Danielle, because Danielle was like, we have to think 10 steps ahead, which I don't know if she's been playing as if she's thinking 10 steps ahead. But Carolyn's like, it's a different game. Like, you can't play like that.
Yeah.
Like, everything changes, which is very true in
It's
this game.
very true, yeah. Now it's going back to me like, Carolyn was right.
Carolyn, Carolyn, you're onto something. But the votes happen. Nikki gets a couple. Sierra gets a few, but ultimately Bob the drag queen gets the most. And it was a little emotional because Danielle voted for him, which we had debated previously whether or not she should have. I think to stay in the majority, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So
he started like crying after he saw her vote.
He said in that video where it was just like interviewing him before he met up with Jeremy, he was like, oh, Danielle, that got me because I didn't think she'd vote for me because she reminded me of my mom. And like all this, and I'm like, oh, damn,
that sucks. Yeah.
But he gets up there and he has his moment.
Down.
Oh, yes, say it.
He was like, I will tell a lie. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. I will tell a truth, but I will never tell a lie. All of you know I have never lied. Guys, I swear to God. And that was a lie because I don't believe in God. I'm a traitor. I'm a traitor, bitch. Mic drop.
Mic drop. And everyone, I think someone flipped a chair. Everyone gets up. Like, they're celebrating. They're like, yeah, we got him.
Oh, the Wicked Witch is dead.
No one more. The Wicked. Tom Sandoval's like, oh my gosh.
Bro.
It's like, bro, you didn't even fucking vote for him. First you said it was Sierra. Then you voted for Nikki.
Tom is so confused.
Like, now you're acting like you did something. Boy, bye. And then everyone's cheering on Boston Rob and thanking him. They're like, for he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow.
The key of the city is yours.
Yes. Here, let's get a plaque.
Kiss my baby. Sign my boobs.
Today's day is National Boston Rob Day. And
Today
we will all wear a backwards ball cap in
Where's
memoriam.
My cap? Tom's like, where's that beanie I had?
I need that beanie, dude.
But even afterwards, they're all like getting drinks and chilling. And they're like, Bob, you're the man. Or Rob, Boston Rob, you're the man. We should have listened to you. Dylan's like, I'm so indebted to you, man. And everybody is drinking the Boston Rob tea. They're like, wow, he's so smart. He's so brave. He's so courageous.
The people who aren't fellow traitors, Danielle is distraught. She's crying about Bob. She's like, they're cheering for him, but it's like, y'all are stupid. He's the biggest traitor. And she's like, a fucking Boston Rob. And then Carolyn's like, Rob doesn't have our back. Like, clearly the traitors are supposed to be a team and this is not how it is.
And she's like, now everybody thinks he's a hero. What am I gonna do?
Right.
Like, this isn't good.
And then someone else is also on to him. Wes is talking to Chriselle, Ivar, and Tom Sandoval. And at first the others are like, oh, Boston Rob, he's great. Tom's like, all I know is whenever he talks, I'm gonna be like, what do you have to say, man? I'm gonna listen to you. And like, and Wes is like, but how does someone know with 100% certainty that someone's a traitor?
And Ivar's like, there's no way. It's not possible.
If they're a traitor.
Dude, if they're a traitor. Only if they're a traitor, dude. That's what Tom says.
And then Wes is just like, yes. And it's like, that goes back to the Boston Rob just shouldn't, if he was gonna go for Bob the drag queen, fine, but he shouldn't have taken the lead and he shouldn't have sounded so sure.
Yeah, because also this is like the first time we see him speak up, so that's suspicious too. If you always are outspoken and you always want to drive your point home, that's one. But it's like, how did you know 100%? Because yeah, Bob was acting weird that day, but that was none of his evidence.
Yeah,
his evidence was just like, I know he's a traitor. I know it. He didn't say, well, this morning he did this and yesterday he did that. It was just, I know. And it's like, so, but how could you?
Yeah.
None of us know, man.
How do you know?
So now they're suspicious.
There's some suspicion on Boston Rob. And then the episode ends on kind of a cliffhanger where the traitors show up at the turret.
Yeah.
And they take off their cloaks and Boston Rob kind of looks just like, Like, oh, what's about to happen?
He was smiling, but I was like,
yeah.
Watch out. Because Danielle is like, I am out for blood. He messed with the wrong one.
And I'm like, I'm here for this.
Yeah.
And then the only preview we got of next week was just kind of like setting up that Carolyn and Danielle might be coming for Boston Rob.
Yeah.
Because they realize he's not there for them.
Nope.
So
that was the end.
That was the end.
That was
Very
a great
excited.
episode.
Great episode. Jam-packed. Loved it. Excited to see next week. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston Rob is out next week.
Yeah, they might start rallying against him because Wes is already suspicious. Danielle and Carolyn already don't like him. So if they all listen in, they could probably get it. But I think the thing is that everybody was desperate to find a traitor. So some people may not be so willing to turn on him for that because they're like, but it's good that he's helping us, right? Maybe if he is a traitor, who cares? Like, he's helping us. Like, let's keep him for a little bit. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see. I'm excited though. But with that being said, I think that's it for today's episode.
That's all, folks.
What was
That's what Looney Tunes. That's all, folks. The pig.
Anyways.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Give us 5 stars. 5 stars. And on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. We love to hear feedback. If you'd like to see our faces instead of just listening to us, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Shade of It All Podcast. And now that TikTok's not gone, you can see us on TikTok and follow us there. We post clips, Shade of It All Podcast, but we're still posting on Instagram, having that at the Shade of It All Pod. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye. Hopefully this audio saved.